There's another item that's on there, and this is not necessarily one that we started, but one that we engaged in because we saw that it impacts Floridians at all levels, individuals who want privacy rights, but also individuals who are going to have to pay to make those privacy rights possible. And that's this report here, Florida's Proposed Privacy Protection Act. This analysis done by Jonathan Guarine here, one of our research economists, was pretty impactful. When I read his report and talked about what the impact was on Floridians, and particularly Florida's taxpayers and small businesses, it caught my eye. So Jonathan, thank you for joining us. Thanks for this report. You are really one talented colleague. And I want you to tell me a little bit and tell those folks that are listening what we're dealing with in the Florida's Proposed Privacy Protection Act. Let's just start with what do these bills do?
Yeah, so House Bill 969 and Senate Bill 1734 are two bills going through the legislature, and they both seek to grant Florida's consumers greater data privacy rights. So broadly, these bills allow consumers the ability to opt out of the sale of their personal information, and it also gives them the ability to know, delete, or correct their personal information. Businesses must give consumers notice of their privacy rights and also let them know if their information is being sold or shared with other companies. And in addition, businesses must respond to any opt-out requests that they receive and prevent the ongoing sale of any data they collect if the consumer wants them to. One particular in these bills that is quite controversial at the moment is a provision that would allow consumers to bring a private cause of action suit against any company that violates a portion of these bills. And this could lead to damages worth $750 per consumer per incident. And it's a big point of conversation and something that we definitely noted in our analysis. These two bills actually only apply to businesses that have certain criteria, such as making over 25 million in gross revenue per year. But when we were running our analysis, we found that this would affect a lot of smaller businesses in the process. So broadly, these are what these two bills that are going through the Florida legislature seek to do.
I think that there's a lot more to this. When I read your report, you really talked about the exposure and the risks that we were facing here in Florida. Tell those folks that are listening today what we're talking about if this bill passes.
If this bill passes, there are going to be a lot of changes that companies will have to now contend with. Most of it will deal with compliance costs. And this deals with anything related to hiring people, data privacy officers who can make sure that companies are complying with these rules, making sure there's sufficient technical operating systems in place whenever these requests come in, and also responding to any of the other technical needs that are required. So compliance is the biggest cost, and that is what our analysis focused on. And what was quite astonishing was when we looked at what the cost would be to Florida businesses, by passing these data privacy laws, it would lead to a cost of about $36.5 billion in initial compliance costs. And furthermore, over the next decade, it would lead to recurring costs anywhere between 300 million to about 9.7 billion. But the more worrying aspect is it would disproportionately affect small businesses. Because these are the businesses that don't have as much legal or financial resources as some of these larger companies may have, they are at a disadvantage relative to these bigger companies. And that could cause a lot of unintentional consequences, which we spell out in our analysis. It may prevent a lot of companies from relocating to Florida, and it may also increase a lot of the annual costs that these smaller businesses have to maintain in order to stay in compliance. And not to mention the potential rise in litigation costs that some of these businesses may face if the litigation portions of these bills go into effect, which would further hurt these companies because many of them don't even have a lot of the legal resources that many big companies do.
Well, Jonathan, I think that's about all we've got time for, but I want to let people know that this report is available at floridataxwatch.org. Go to the research tab and you can find out what the economic impact is going to be. Jonathan really has a skill at making things understandable. So after you read this, if you want to see how easy it is to understand Jonathan, go and read our Medicaid report that he just put up, our economic commentary on that, because I've been following Medicaid for years, and his short primer there really brought it into focus. Guys, I know that it's been a busy week and we've got a lot more done. We're only halfway through the session. And as I've heard said many a time before, no man, woman, and child is safe when the Florida legislature is in session. But thank goodness the three of us and all the people that make it possible for us to be here are watching. Dominic, I know that you're fond of saying that we're the eyes and ears of Florida's taxpayers. And I think it's true. I think we're proving it this week. And thank you for the support that each of you is providing to make this all possible. By the way, highly recommend that you get 2 other people to join you in supporting TaxWatch, because we need that type of support as we go forward. We'll be back next week, so you know what we're looking at. Next week, the Economic Estimating Conference meets on Tuesday, and Kurt Winter's got his handfuls trying to make sense of all that. There's a lot of good news coming out of it, but the budget's out in play, and he'll be describing what it all looks like. So join us as we meet next week with Kurt Winter and try to digest where the budget is and where Florida's economy is going. It's a great day to be a Floridian, and it's a great day to be at Florida Tax Watch. Thanks for joining us today.